lowered his head and thought that he was doing this and that here. He was sitting on a box opposite the Viscount. The Viscount was shouting that he could not pay the water bill and in general he could not live that long. The knight listened with a blank look as the nobleman prepared to file a complaint with the royal court for exploitation. While the man was describing himself, Bayern pulled out a cube with recommendations for mini construction. He broke off a piece and immediately the protagonist's face appeared. The guy grimaced and asked what else was this. The Viscount fell back in convulsions and began to mumble that he would pay the bill. The knight threw his head back and wondered when Lloyd would return. Every time the young man disappeared, Bayern suffered alone in the county. Although he was paid a large salary, his body was weakening. The man was returning on horseback. He froze when he heard a cry that Mr. Lloyd had returned. This gave him strength, and the knight abruptly jerked his horse. The hero walked, carrying a sofa with the Dragon King on his back. Bayern rushed towards him, shouting that he had been waiting for him. He fell to his knees and asked to listen to the old man's last request. The man looked at the boy in despair and said that this was too difficult and he wanted to stop. Lloyd looked softly at his subordinate and refused, asking how much more he could add. The knight began to cry and objected that he had enough money, he simply could not survive in this mode. The young man looked at him thoughtfully and, smiling, walked past. The man turned around, and the hero said that the annual salary from today is 3 billion. The knight shouted that the problem was not about money. He put his hand to his chest and with a calm face said that he would do everything possible. The hero looked ahead in surprise. There he was met by his parents and friends. The boy stretched his lips into a smile. He happily waved his hand at them and realized that his homeland was now here. Lloyd and his protector stood in front of the dragon, sprawled on the couch. The man asked whether the young man would wake him up so that he could call his wife every morning. Berkey squinted and asked if this would help fix the fact that he hadn't called for a month. The brown-haired man calmly looked at his interlocutor and said no. The dragon glanced at him sideways and was indignant that he had been deceived. Lloyd smiled and said that it was better to start from scratch than to fix what had happened.